All right, my friends, I am back. You know, the last time I was up just a moment ago, we were just not positioned to get to the different streams, so I had to shut that down and go back in. And so now we're good on LinkedIn and Facebook and a bunch of other places. But anyway, I'm going to be speaking in a few weeks in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm going to be, oh gosh, this organization who I love dearly, the National Association of Workforce Development Professionals. I will be speaking at their conference, I think, for about the 14th year straight. I think the only other conference that I've presented at equally as much, which I don't do as much as I used to, is the INSEP Gear Up conference that's held for first generation college students. So, but I'm excited about speaking at NAWDP again. I've been actually interacting with the organization a little bit longer than that. I met one of their former executive directors at the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development Conference. She was there for that event. She invited me to NAWDP, and I've been involved with NAWDP ever since. So that was Bridget Brown many, many, many years ago. And so, which made sense because a lot of our early stage work was primarily in workforce development. We were a contractor under WIA, Workforce Investment Act, and ran some successful youth programs and adult programs. So it's hard to believe all these years later, we're still having a lot of interactions and engagement with workforce leaders throughout the United States, Canada, and Caribbean. And in many essence, yeah, thank you. I'm looking to see you there. Make sure we come by the booth and say hello. All right. We'd like to, a lot of times we're doing these online, but don't necessarily have a chance to connect with people offline. So if you're going to be in Charlotte, this is letting you know that Coach D is going to be there. So anyway, and the one and only Pierre Campbell is going to be there. So last year we had Sophia there as a keynote speaker, and I was beyond top proud. I'm going to try to chime Sophia in on one of the during one of the sessions I'll be offering. I'm not keynoting this time, but I'm doing workshops, and so I'll see if I can chime her in to share a few words. 'Cause everybody really enjoyed her last year, but she's steeped in work at American University, and she's also doing an internship with the Grammys. So Sophie's busy. She's busy, so she can't make the Charlotte trip this year. But the one and only Pierre Campbell will be there, and you want to be there to meet Pierre. Pierre is a powerful, powerful speaker, trainer. He'll be exhibiting with me. Just an amazing, amazing person, and you're going to enjoy his work. But today, what I want to talk about is what we're going to be speaking on at NODA. And this is not just for NODA attendees, this is for everyone, because I want to chime in on some of the focus areas that we're going to be talking about, but speaking on, but why it's relevant. So one of these workshops I'll be doing, and if you attend, please attend and get in there early because our workshops pack out. I remember one year at NODA, they had me set up for a room for about 100 people, and like 300 people showed up. So I'll tell you, if you get there, get early. We have well attended workshops, and I'm excited about that. Appreciate the love that we get every year at this conference. But one of the topics is going to be post pandemic leadership and how to position that for recruitment, effective recruitment and retention. Let me share this with you. And not the workforce is not the only one that needs to hear this topic, but I'll tell you, I had a chance to interact with a bunch of CEOs. We were doing a training on diversity, and all these CEOs that were on there. And one CEO was a little bit frustrated about all that's going on when we talk about employees this and employees that. And he's like saying, when is it going to go back to normal? And I shared with him with a smile on my face. It was a virtual program. I said, sir, with all due respect, it's not going back to normal. This is the new normal. What we're experiencing today has been reset by COVID. COVID set up what we are dealing with today. So how people interact, how people engage, how people are kind of a little more sensitive to the way we communicate to them, how people are still struggling with staying on jobs for a long period of times with managers or leaders who are more of the, aggressive types. Them days are over. People have figured out ways to make things happen. And so to be an effective leader in this generation, you have to be a post-pandemic leader. You have to understand what you're dealing with as far as the psyche that people are dealing with personally on a day-to-day basis if you're going to be an effective leader post-pandemic. All right. Now, pre-pandemic, some of that stuff may have worked. Post-pandemic, it's not. So we're going to be giving some strategies and some traits of post-pandemic leaders, okay, at this conference. It's going to be good too. All right. It's going to be really, really good. And if you're a leader and you're attending this conference, you want to be there. If you're a staff member and you're attending the conference, you want to be there. Okay. Because it's going to be some powerful information. Also, if you can't make this presentation because you're committed to another one, come by our exhibit booth because we're going to be exhibiting and discussing these topics on a regular basis at our exhibit booth. So the first session we're going to be conducting is on post-pandemic leadership and its effect on recruitment and retention. It is going to be almost impossible to retain anyone today with old leadership styles. That ship has passed. We can see it in a number of people that are dealing with trauma situations. One of my good friends said for every 100,000 people that need a therapist, there's only 300 therapists. So everyone can't go rushing into therapy. People are recovering, recouping, and what they need is a leader that's more on the servant leadership side. And I'm not going to go into that right now, but that's more the side you want to look at more so. And in the values-centric leadership is going to be of critical importance post-pandemic. So if you're coming to the workshop, check it out. If you're not even going to the workshop, you need to really start thinking about how am I leading post-pandemic? And if it's not value-centric, then it's going to be very difficult. Okay. All right. So the next topic we're going to be talking about is the psychology of self-care and wellness. All right. And on wellness. And so we're going to kind of be diving into some of the topics we've talked about before on self-care because that's one of our fastest growing areas of focus. And matter of fact, I'm going to pop something. Give me a second to do something. I want to share something with y'all. Some of you may not have seen this yet, but we have a new website. As a matter of fact, this website has been taking off, man. People are responding. Let me see. It's not allowing me to do it. Okay. There we go. But we are excited about this new website that we're doing on self-care. And I'll tell you something, it's one of the fastest growing areas of our work. We have customers all over the country because we're taking we're looking at this thing from a psychology perspective, the mindset perspective, growth mindset. All right. And the reason why that's important is because people have heard about smoothies, people have heard about yoga classes, they've been given certificates to do everything, and they don't use the certificates, they do not go to the yoga classes. Why? Because we have not figured out why we should do this. We don't understand the benefits, the significant benefits, okay? And when it comes to self-care. So we're going to educate and we're going to talk about why your organization needs to focus on it, why you as an individual need to focus on it, and how it's going to be beneficial to you as far as your overall wellness, which we all kind of need today. So this is not come in there and let's do, Zumba. That's fine. We're going to talk about how do we have to get effective rest? And we're going to talk about why we should have effective diets. Why there's going to be a lot of why we should do this, because sometimes when you get the why, make the connection to the why, then the how becomes pretty easy because there's some things I need to do in order to. So come out and learn about that. Self-care is not a game anymore. All right. That whole thing, self-care is not selfish. It should be. I should be selfish about my well-being. There's nothing wrong with that because you have to live with you all your life. What other people think, whatever, don't even matter. That's half of our battle. We spend too much time worrying about what other people think. When it comes to my health, when it comes to my well-being, when it comes to me living the life that I know that I should live for the betterment of me and my family and those around me, I need to take self-care seriously. You see, I take it seriously. I mean, there used to be a time like everyone else. I used to worry about what people think and I used to worry about what people would say. I don't worry about none of that anymore because I realize I have a wife, I have 4 children, I have people that I love in my life, and that's who I have to put my energy into. That's why I got to protect my energy. That's why all that stuff is important because the reality is if I don't take care of myself, all right, self can end up becoming stressed, frustrated, in not the best situation because I'm not taking the time to take care of myself. So we're going to be talking about that at the conference. So I'm looking forward to seeing many of you there. It's going to be a great event. And As always, I think they said this is the largest group ever, the largest group ever. So looking forward to that. But also keep in mind that, if you're not attending, you need to think about self-care. And I just put some information about a new website that we have. If you want to learn a little bit more, reach out to us. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us on this new site we just talked about. I just put up here a few moments ago. Most of them, I think some of them got them, some that have not. But we're very serious about this work. We're very serious about leadership and our customers who work with us. You see them saying, the customers we're working with, no doubt, understand how significant this is. They're making an investment in their staff, they're making an investment in their leaders. And I tell people all the time, if you're not willing to invest in your staff and your leaders, what in the world are you doing? Like that's your investment. Like in workforce development, I tell folks all the time, we love the clients. We want to help the clients. Want to help them find, job success, career success. But God dog, man, we need to start loving the people that are doing the work too. They're important because as they're empowered, they can empower others. You see? Yeah. And so, yeah, you're right, Paul. Definitely. Paul, many of you heard seen Paul pop on some more stuff every now and then. I love what he says here from way over in Nairobi, Kenya. Have a positive attitude towards relaxation and toward, yeah, and then take it easy. Like I'll be honest with you, I'm playing hooky this afternoon. I'm gonna spend time with my daughter. We're gonna have some fun. You know what I mean? My son's birthday was this past weekend. We're gonna have some fun. You know why I can do that? I do that with no guilt because the reality is we need to do that. I'm doing it for her and I'm doing it for him. But the reality, I'm also doing it for me because I need to take care of me in order to be effective in what I'm doing. So that's pretty much it. Thank you, Paul, for your contribution, man. I'm proud of you, the work you're doing over there in Kenya. Keep it up, man. Don't give up on this. It's such a great need. And um, and that's all I have. I got to get ready to run because I mentioned I'm playing hooky. But I'm looking forward to the NAWDP presentations and what's needed to and sharing information that's going to be advantageous to all the attendees who participate.